Okay, so we're going to have a little look at changing the subject today. So changing the subject, getting a particular letter that the question is asking for on its own and isolated. So I'm moving everything else away from it. So if we look at this question, make H the subject of the formula. So that implies anything that has a H in it, like that 7H has got to be left on its own, and everything else is going to be moved away from it. So you've got 7H is going to stay where it is. The 11Q and 3P is also going to stay where it is. And the only thing I'm moving is that one, because I want to get it away from, I'm going to move it across to the other side away from that 7H. So if we're thinking about it's 5P, it's plus 5P at the moment, the opposite of plus 5P is going to be a negative or take away P. So I've got 7H is equal to 11Q. Think about your number line, 3P take away 5, so I'm on 3 on my number line, I'm going down 5. That's going to give me a negative 2, so that's negative 2P. Now the last stage is thinking about getting rid of that 7. Okay, so we're thinking about what that means. At the moment that means times. So the opposite of times becomes a divide. So everything on that right hand side is divided by 7. That now H is on its own. So that is the answer to my question. That is the solution done. Okay, part B then, second question, exactly the same. So make F the subject of the formula. That means anything with a letter F in it, I need to collect it together first, okay? So the EF, that can stay where it is, because that's on the left-hand side for me. That minus D, I'm going to move that away, okay? So I've got my equal sign, and I'm going to move that so it becomes a plus D, or just D on its own. The next thing I encounter then is this KF, okay? That has the F in it that I want. At the moment, it's positive. So if I move it across to the other side, it becomes negative, so it becomes a takeaway KF, and that plus T can stay where it is. It doesn't have an F, so I don't have to move it. Now this question is a question that involves factorising. So if we look at this left-hand side, we have two things that have an F in it, two terms that both have an F. So we're going to take the F outside the bracket and then decide what I'm left with. So I'd be left with an E and then a takeaway K. If I expand, I multiply that bracket out, I get back to that expression, which is what I started with. I've got D plus T on that side. Now that means two things next to each other, times. The opposite of times does become divide. So you can leave the brackets there if you want to. If you wanted to write it without brackets, so just E take away K, that's also acceptable in an exam situation, and that is changing the subject.